Hello there, my name is Salim Javed and I am an Associate Professor at Lingya's Lalita Devi Institute of Management and Sciences. On the occasion of International Women's Day, we have prepared a special lecture about the contribution of women in Indian cinema, and the title of this program is Superwomen of Indian Cinema. International Women's Day is a global phenomenon celebrated annually on March 8 as a focal point of the women's rights movement, highlighting issues including gender equality, reproductive rights, and violence and abuse against women. There is no denial of the fact that women played an important role in the evolution and development of Indian cinema as men did. Let me surprise you with a fact that the first actor who played the leading actress role, the heroine, which was the full-length feature film in the first full-length feature film called Raja Harishchandra, which was released in 1913, was not a woman. Yes, you heard me right. The first heroine of first full-length feature film of India was not a woman, but a man. Yes, you heard me right. The heroine of the first full-length feature film of India was not a woman, but a man, and his name was Anna Hari Salunke. Now, as you can see on your screen, this person, Anna Hari Salunke, who is basically a male, was the first heroine of Indian cinema. Now, he played the role of Rani Taramati, the wife of Raja Harishchandra, because the film title is Raja Harishchandra, which was released in 1913. And Dadasaheb Phalke met him in a restaurant in Bombay. Phalke was unable to, cast a woman in film. Even prostitutes and dancing girls did not want to act in films. Now, I'll talk about this point, why the first Indian film has a male heroine, so-called. Now, when Phalke was there in the restaurant in Bombay, Phalke observed Salunke, effeminate physique and slender hands, and persuaded Salunke to play a female role and offered him more than what he was earning in that restaurant. So it was a profit for Salunke. Now, you will also be surprised to know that Salunke also was the first to do a double role in Indian cinema. He played both hero and heroine, or the male protagonist or the female protagonist, in a film called Lanka Dahan, which was made in 1917, which was again directed by Phalke. Now, as you can see, this is Anna Hari Salunke, and he was the first heroine of Indian cinema, whereas he is a male. Now, so we are talking about how women contributed, and this is how it started. Now, the film Raja Harishchandra brought rich returns. It was a massive hit. It was an instant hit in India. Within 3 months, Dadasaheb Phalke produced his second mythological feature called Mohini Bhasmasur. Now, this is very interesting because immediately after Raja Harishchandra, within 3 months, Phalke produced Mohini Bhasmasur in the same year. But luckily, in this film Mohini Bhasmasur, he was able to have 2 female actors who were actually real mother and daughter in real life. The lady who played the role of Mohini in the film called Mohini Bhasmasur, her name was Kamlabai Gokhale. So this is how we started. But now, during the lecture, I will also be discussing that why women in the beginning of Indian cinema shy away from screen. What were the reasons and other things. Now, let's talk about another very hit personality without which any discussion on females' contribution in Indian cinema is not possible, and surprisingly, her name is Fatima Begum. Now, this is one of the pictures of Fatima Begum which you can see on your screen. Now, this lady called Fatima Begum, she not only acted but produced, directed, and started her own production house So that is what is interesting. Now it becomes very difficult when you are dealing with a topic like the contribution of women in Indian cinema. Now you happen to know a lot of people, but what is the criteria to select these people? Now you cannot put all the names here. So I have picked up a criteria where they are their persona, on screen persona, created and contributed in the improvement of the women's image in real life. Now, as I talked about Salunke, because that is the starting point, so one has to talk about Salunke, so you have to talk about the first heroine of Indian cinema. But now onwards, the ladies that I'm going to talk about, they have not only they were the part of the silver screen, but they have contributed beyond silver screen, and we also will be understanding that what it was like to be on screen as being women in the beginning of cinema, whereas traditionally women or never participated, or women did not like to participate in films in the beginning. So we'll talk about the reasons also. Now before we start in the discussion on the role of women's contribution in Indian cinema, we can't do away without Fatima Begum. Now Fatima Begum, she is considered to be the first female film producer and director of Indian cinema. She also worked as a she also worked as a director, writer, and actress. She started with the Urdu stage plays, and she became, or rather, she acted in her first film, which was Veer Abhimanyu in year 1922. And interestingly, this Veer Abhimanyu was the film of Ardeshir Irani. Now, if you know that during my lecture I talked about that Ardeshir Irani is the one who has been given the credit of starting talkies in India, and I'll also discuss about that what is the relation Ardeshir Irani has with Fatima Begum, her daughter Zubaida, and how Zubaida and other things contributed in the shaping of Indian cinema. Now, when I'm talking about this time, which is basically 1920s, the way you see today that women are participating in cinema, it was like a rarity in cinema. Now, when you used to go to film set during that time, women, hardly you were able to see women. And at that point of time, you have this lady called Fatima Begum, who is acting in Indian film called Veer Abhimanyu, and she is acting as a lead. Please understand, it is not that we did not have participation, but they were not like, by this time, a lot of men were playing multiple roles. They were playing not only men, they were playing women also. And so this was, you really have to understand that how it must have been for a lady like Fatima Begum to be on set, and not only to be on set, but also excel at craft. And she, becoming writer, director, actress, and later on producer also. She established a production house also. Now, during the time, men were playing the characters of women. Now, this is also very, important to understand that we have been having a history of, not only in films, but in a lot of other art forms also, where men have been playing the role of a woman. And I mean, if I can say, even you are seeing that and you enjoy that when you see Kapil Sharma in today's time, where men are playing the role of female. So there is a certain likeness for that sort of a character, and you take liberty also, and there is a lot of scope for comedy also. But being a woman and participating in film at that point of time, where women were seldomly being seen on screen, I mean, it's a huge thing. Now, during that time, as I said, that men were playing the character of women, and as she was the only prominent female individual among men, she became a huge, huge film star, or I must say, huge female superstar. In 1926, she established Fatima Films. Now, this is very interesting that, during the course of lecture, I can talk about Nargis, Madhubala. No, I'm not going to talk about all these people. I'm going to talk about those superwomen who contributed beyond their capacity. Now that is the selection criteria for all the women that has been brought in this lecture. No, so Fatima Begum is not only the producer. As I just said, she established Fatima Films, and she also became the first female director of Indian cinema when she directed her first film called Bulbul-e Paristan. Now, she was writing also, she was acting also, she was directing also, she was producing also. So you can understand how important Fatima Begum is when we start talking about the contribution of women in Indian cinema. Now, interestingly, Fatima Begum alone was not talented. Even her children, three daughters like Zubaida, Sultana, and Shehzadi. These are the names of her daughter. Even they were superstar in their own rights. Sultana, I wanted to talk about Sultana, but I'll be talking about Zubaida, and I will not be talking about Shehzadi, because Zubaida also, like Sultana was an actress, but Zubaida was more than actress. So that is what my criteria is. So I'll be talking about Zubaida in the lecture. And why Zubaida is important as like her mother? Because she was the lead actress of the first talkie in India called Alamara, which was released in 1931. So you can understand the importance of her. Like there were a lot of other Anglo-origin women. There were a lot of Anglo-origin women. I'll be talking about them also. Like Sulochana, I'll be talking about. Don't be confused by the name Sulochana. It is her, adopted name. She is of a foreign origin. And how even Zubaida was chosen. Zubaida was not the first choice when I'll be talking about Zubaida. Right now I'm talking about Fatima Begum, so let me stick to Fatima Begum only. So Fatima Begum not only became the producer, director, writer, singer, she had very talented children also, three, Sultana, Zubaida, and one more name, Shehzadi. Now I'll talk about Zubaida, when we'll be talking about her role and everything. Now why Fatima Begum is important? Throughout her career, she broke down barriers and challenged gender norms in a male-dominated industry, paving the way for future generation of women of India to participate in Indian cinema. That is her one of the major contribution. Now, breaking first has always been difficult in your life and my life also, and she is the one who has created space, not only space but respect also. That doesn't matter. Gender does not matter. It's a talent which matters. So now, next in the list is, after Fatima Salunke, Fatima Begum, next in the list is Jillobai. Now, you would say that, sir, we haven't heard her name at all, but I can guarantee you that you know her very well. I have taken an old picture of hers because I was not able to get a copyright-free image of her of young age. There is only one picture available, and that was not. But you can see her, and she was extremely beautiful. Now she is old, so that's why she looks like this. Now Jillobai is called Jilloma also. Now I will tell you why she is called Jilloma and who is Jillobai. Now, when we talk about Jillobai, she is basically one very brilliant actress from silent era. Her real name was Zulekha Ibrahim. Now, Jillobai is her, she is known by this name. And she started her career in 1924 with films like Veer Durgadas, Chandragupta Chanakya, and Razia Begum. Her prominence. Now, her prominence can be understood by a very simple fact that when you see the poster of Alamara, which was released in 1931. Again, when we are talking about pre-independence, Alamara is the point that revolves everything. And this point will be coming again and again, but in a different reference. Now, if you look at the poster of Alamara, you can search it at your own, because now there are four, five, six names. So first is of Master Bithal, because he was the hero of that film. Second was of Zubaida, and third was of Jillubai. And now you will say, sir, what is new if the third name is of Jillubai? Now, if I tell you which is the fourth name, then you will understand the importance of this actress and what respect she must be commanding at that point of time. She has been put before Prithviraj Kapoor. Now that makes her, her first inning so interesting, and you can check it out. I will be very happy that if you check out. And she is put before Prithviraj Kapoor. Eventually they meet in one very interesting film that I'll be talking about, and you will be very surprised. So in Alamara, she is being put before Prithviraj Kapoor, and interestingly, when I'll tell you the name of the other film, you will be happily surprised. I can guarantee you on that. Now, she not only started acting, but she must have started. She started her acting career, but she was proved to be an actress who was able to sing also. Now, please understand, we are approaching towards talkies. So speaking, singing, being lead actor, these things will become really, really important. Now, she was active in 1920s, because she started her career in 20s, in 30s, in 40s, and in 50s. So she had a very long span of career. Now, what makes Jillubai interesting is, this first half is really important, because she is very important actress and things like that. But her second inning makes her more important. Now, in her second inning, for which people remember her most, now it started with film Jugnu, which was released in 1947, in which she played the role of Dilip Kumar's mother. Now you will start understanding why she's called Jilloma. She played the role of Dilip Kumar's mother, and there was no stopping. Now, there was no stopping. Any old film that you pick up, and where you do not see Durga Khote and similar other people, it's Jillubai which is playing the role of mother. Now, Maghrur, which was released in 1950, she also played the mother's role. Sanam, she played, which was released in 1951, she played the role of mother. Madhoshi, which was released in 1951, she played the role of mother of Meena Kumari. And interestingly, now the two films that I'm going to talk about now, you can understand why she is called Jilloma. Now, if you have seen Mother India, which was released in 1957, nobody can forget Sundar Chachi. That Sundar Chachi is Jilloma. And if you have seen Mughal-e-Azam, then Anarkali's mother is Jillubai. Now, when I was studying in college, we very casually used to joke about that Nirupa Roy is the universal mother. But when I came to know about Jillubai, Nirupa Roy is second. The first universal mother of Indian cinema is Jillubai, and that's why she is called Jilloma also. Like Nirupama Roy is not called Nirupama Ma. I haven't read it. I have been reading something, but I haven't heard this term called Nirupama. But Jilloma is one of the names that she was bestowed upon, so she is important in that sense. Now let's talk about another very interesting personality, Gauhar. Now, when I started reading about Gauhar, there are many Gauhar, like Gauhar Jan also. So let me clarify something very clearly here, that I am not talking about Gauhar Jan, the singer and the first performer who recorded music on 78 round per minute or RPM, and she is also known as the gramophone girl, and she is the first singing superstar of India. The person I'm going to talk about is Gohar Khayyam Mamajiwala, which is also called Miss Gohar. So Gohar Khayyam Mamajiwala. There are many Gohar in when you start finding out about Gohar Jan is different, and Gohar Khayyam Mamajiwala is different, and she is also known as Miss Gohar. Now, why she is important? There are many reasons for that. So she is known as Gohar. Now, Gohar started her career with a film called Baap Kamai, and in 1926, and which was produced by Kohinoor film, and this film was a smash hit. She started her own. Now again, she is transcending from her role, which is of an actress, to other domain also. Now this Baap Kamai was absolutely a hit, and she started her own Shri Sound Studio, and later with Ranjit Film Company, which was later on renamed as Ranjit Movie Tone, with the coming of sound, which was this Ranjit Movie Tone was one of the largest and most prolific studio in the country. Now, if you talk about Ranjit Film Studio, it also means that we are talking about Chandulal Shah. When I'll be talking about producers, I'll be talking why Chandulal Shah is so important. Now, Chandulal Shah, who founded the company in partnership with Gohar. Now you can understand what a big name she must have been. She was the star of silent film era. Gohar had a well-deserved reputation as an accomplished silent screen actress who, with the advantage of sound, made an easy switch. Now, this point is really important, because when I'll be talking about Sulochana is a perfect case study. Now, Gohar was able to make that transition from silent era to talkies very smoothly, and she was billed as a glorious Gohar by the studio publicity department, an epithet that stayed throughout her film career. She featured in a string of box office hits like Miss 1933, Vishwamohini, Gun Sundari, and Barrister's Wife. Now, as I was just talking about that, I'll be talking about Sulochana. Her real name was Ruby Meyer, and let's talk about Sulochana, which is Ruby Meyer. Now, Sulochana or Ruby Meyer, as you can see in the image, she is not of Indian origin, but she was brilliant. I mean, she was a brilliant actress. I'll be talking about her very soon. Thank you very much.